Let's go ahead now and look at some popular players according to our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook. The Chiefs wide receiver, Kadarius Tony, receiving yards currently stands at 35.5, which received so many bets on the under. 98.5% of tickets, 91% of the handle. Now, this makes sense to me just because there's so many weapons on KC that I could see him really not getting as much love as a Kelsey or these other guys. Do you like this under 35.5 yards for Kadarius Tony?
So it's actually one of the bets that I'm going to be giving out later. But what are people looking at here when they're taking this under? Kadarius Tony, he's probably the most explosive athlete on that field, right? The guy can do anything. He's a super freak of an athlete. The Chiefs, since acquiring him from the Giants, have done nothing but sing high praises of him, that he's a great teammate. He's great in the locker room. He's, great studying film. He's not one of those lazy players. And then you look at the Bengals. They're the second worst team in the NFL in DVOA versus opposing number 2 wide receivers. And you can make the case that maybe Tony's the number 1 or, Juju's the number 1, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like you said, the Chiefs don't really have that bona fide number 1 clear-cut wide receiver outside of Travis Kelce. So I think, Kadarius Tony, I think he's going to come into this game, little chip on his shoulder. Eli Apple, the secondary of the Bengals, have been doing a lot of talking this week.
A lot of talking. A lot. He's got to have a huge target on his back. You got to be scared when you better come correct if you're going to talk that much. Although I will say, I don't think him giving the heart hand emoji had anything to do with Eli Apple. Like, that is a stretch amongst stretch. Like, everybody uses that emoji. He was trolling them saying, you're going to Cancun, heart. It had nothing to do with Damar Hamlin. There's no one, I think, in the United States, and certainly not a player in the NFL, that is making fun of what happened to Damar Hamlin. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, there's no way that, especially so soon, right? Like, probably ever no one will really bring that up as a joke, but yeah, so soon, someone so close to the game, I can't see that Eli Apple doing that. Because the backlash he would get from, fellow players would just be so negative, for him. But did you see? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see the clip of the Eli Apple and I think Hinton on the Bengals? They're calling it Burrowhead.
Yes.
Like, the one thing you don't want to do is give Patrick Mahomes bulletin board material coming into an AFC Championship game.
All right. Well, you want to bring up Patrick Mahomes. That's another popular bet with our friends over at Caesar. So his passing yards prop opened up at 272.5. It's gone up to 281.5 after he did the little jig and the jog and the stretching that everybody saw. It's racked up the third most over money on a player prop and the second most under money. So it's kind of like push and pull here. I will say that the first playoff game that Patrick Mahomes ever had under 300 passing yards was against the Jags. Now, part of that is because, 1, he got hurt in it, and 2, Henny came in for a couple of those snaps. It's interesting that it's gone up based on, we don't really know what's going. Look, I'm laying off this prop. I'm not touching anything Patrick Mahomes because that might be something that you can look at as the game goes on, but I'm not touching Patrick Mahomes until I see what he actually looks like in a game under pressure, because seeing him jog for 5 seconds, off of an interview or do a couple stretches is not the same thing as playing against this Bengals defense that, by the way, has been pretty good.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in taking those props either, especially when you look at this total. The total is weirdly low for this game. What is it, like 47, 48? When you look at these two teams, the Chiefs and the Bengals, especially the way the Bengals offense has really been clicking, and the Chiefs' number 1 scoring offense in the league this year, I'm shocked that one's not at least 51, 52 in that type of range. So I feel like that low total is kind of also hinting that this is going to be kind of maybe a tighter, low scoring, real battle of a game.
Oh, I hope not, because I like the over in this game. Another popular one, people betting against my Brock Purdy. I mean, it's like both of those games have been the last 2 times they've seen each other have been 51. And, I'm not counting out Patrick Mahomes, that's for sure. And I know Joe Burrow's going to put up points, so I still like the over in that game. But another popular one, people don't like Brock Purdy. Surprise, surprise. His rushing yards open at 9.5 yards, dipped down to 8.5, over -109, under -125. The under has it has the most over bets. People are back in this, actually. My bad, has the most over bets and money of any player for this weekend, pulling in 95.9% of tickets and 89.7% of the handle. People think that Brock Purdy's going to be scrambling. I just automatically assumed that people were taking the under on this one. This one's interesting to me, actually. What do you think of this? What do you think about Purdy over this 8.5?
I guess the bettors out there think Purdy's going to be running for his life on Sunday, huh?
Well,
I
I
don't
guess,
hate
yeah.
it
I mean, the
because
Eagles lead in sacks. There's that.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I don't hate it just if that's the angle you're taking, that you think that the Eagles front and pass rush is going to be able to get to Purdy and kind of force him to make a couple plays on his own. I don't hate it. Not something I would bet personally. I know you and we made some money betting Justin Herbert under rushing yards this year, but that was
Yeah.
because we kind of had an angle of, he was banged up, he was
Hurt.
injured.
Yeah.
Purdy's healthy, everything on the line. I could see him getting out of the pocket for a few couple, 3 here, 4 there.